Hey, Chuck, how are you?
Hey, Chuck.
Hey, how's everybody doing?
Good.
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 I was wondering about recording. Is it going to be, how
It is
easy is it going to
recorded.
be for us to get that to folks?
Piece of cake. As soon as it renders, I will get you the link. How's that?
Okay, great.
Yep.
Super.
Very good. So how is everything up in New York?
I think it's good, but
I'm in Pennsylvania, so I don't know.
I mean, officially I'm in New Jersey, yeah, but Jay can tell us.
Okay, there we go.
Hi, Jay. Hi, Ruth.
Hey there. All right, now
Everybody.
in this part of New York, things are peachy. In fact, we're so much better off than the rest of the country. Y'all should move here to the promised land.
Well, I am so happy to hear that. I'm just hopeful that I could afford to do that, Jay. I'm just saying.
I'll arrange that they reduce your burden from the top tax rate to the middle class tax rate.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow. That is quite the commitment there. I'm appreciative.
So you can cut your taxes by making less.
That's a powerful statement there. It sure is. And let's be really clear, based upon the pandemic, that was not a hard thing to accomplish.
Hi, Jen.
Hi, Tony.
Tony.
How are you?
Hi,
Hey, Casey.
Jen.
Hey, Casey.
Hi, Tony.
Ruth. Hello.
Good to see you again.
Thank you. Good to be here.
So Ken, as we go through this, by the way, I don't know how many are supposed to be joining. You might have an idea of who might be here or might not as to what we need to do in terms of starting.
Yes. So I know there are probably out of the 13, minimally 4 or 5 who are traveling.
Okay.
So let's give folks maybe another minute or two, and then we can get started, because I'm just haven't heard from everybody. But I know there's a handful who are not going to be here.
Excellent.
Okay, we have some questions while we're waiting.
No, Ruth, there's no questions allowed in this call.
Man, Taskmaster to Ken. Dang, dude, you the man.
Yes, we're going to have plenty of time for questions. We want to give Chuck a chance to kind of lay things out, and then definitely go to Q&A and clarify anything that he hasn't clarified.
Okay.
Robin,
Yes.
I just want to remind you what a great party you threw.
Indeed.
Thank you.
Yeah, I really
We
really
threw.
enjoyed myself.
Wait through. That's great.
Good job.
And I see
Thanks
Tim
for
on the line
coming,
there too. Hi, Tim.
everybody. Gonna go get some water.
All righty. Yeah, let's give it 7 o'clock now. We'll give it 1 minute maybe, and then jump on, because as I'm looking at the list, most of the other folks were not going to be able to be here. All right, well, it is 1 after, so welcome everyone to the reel-to-reel info call with our amazing videographer, Chuck Gallagher, who is going to run us through what to expect between now and the day of shoot. And on the day of shoot, there's some more logistics to work out yet, but he is going to give us a good grounding and give you the information you need to get started so that you can have a successful video experience. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Chuck for now.
Okay. Well, howdy, everybody. We
Howdy, Chuck.
the team is looking forward to trekking up to New York City to do this shoot that will be taking place in January. So we got a lot of work to do between now and then. So first thing let's do is think just a moment about what the outcome is. Okay. I am making a couple of assumptions. If I am making an inaccurate assumption, then you can tell me, okay? Not going to hurt my feelings, because the objective is to get you what you want. But up to this point, we have done the same thing for a number of chapters within NSA, and the concept functionally is a number of us had demo reels in whatever 2017, 18, 19, and we were kind of in that decade. I'm moving my hands around, you can't see it all, but that's how I talk. And then all of a sudden pandemic hits and it's like, holy crap, the world has changed. What meeting planners expect has changed. Any trends that were already in place just got accelerated because of the pandemic. And of course, we are still in that with now the new variant taking hold and all of the stuff that's associated with it. So, there's a lot of uncertainty as to where things go. But what we have found, and we've done, it's kind of miraculously, I mean, it was weird to look back at it and see in 2021, but we've done 57 speaker demo videos, which was like, holy crap, that's a lot. The thing, and I'm going to put this out so everybody can kind of get this, you can therefore think about what you perceive for yourself. So how am I going to put this? It used to be, I'm going to call it last decade, that the operative word was they need to see me speak, and 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 it just needs to be a lot of me speaking because I'm a speaker. It has moved, at least up to this point. I mean, everything changes, but it has moved more toward, what problem are you solving for me? Yes, I need to see you say something. I need to see you speak. I need to know you're articulate. Yes, I know all of those things, but what do you solve? Why am I going to choose Chuck Gallagher as the speaker? So, and you can look at me now, let me look on here and make sure I've got this right. I think I'm fairly accurate. I'm probably the oldest person on the call. If nothing else, let's put it this way. It's probably Jay and I are going to be putting on the, okay, maybe Tony, you'll be hanging in there. Let's put it this way. Us baby boomers know the great music and who made the great music, and they actually played the instruments. And that sounds like my daddy. But nonetheless, the reality is the average meeting planner is between 35 and 52 years old. So that's the people making the decision as to who's going to be bought. So when you look at my face with this gray hair, many people would say I'm male, pale, and stale. So there has to be some reason why they would choose me over someone else, because they could easily look at someone who is, I'm going to make it easy and say 42 years old, that talks on ethics, which is my topic area. And why me versus someone that's younger, that fits more into the, Gen Z or millennial age. And so our videos have to, or at least it's an opinion, let me put it that way, it's an opinion, need to reflect what it is that you're bringing to the table. What problem are you solving for them? And if they know that, then they can deal with the, okay, why you over someone else? But the videos that we as speakers used to have, and I started as a speaker in 2006, so it's been a while, but the demo videos we used to have that were 8, 10, 12 minutes long that just showed us speaking in lots of places, illustrated we're capable. It didn't illustrate or answer the question as to what the problem is. So with that said, what I'm going to do, and bear with me just a minute because I'm going to play this out just a second. Let's go back here. I'm going to share my screen, I think, and I'm going to show some excerpts from a couple of videos, okay? And the reason I'm doing this is I want to give you some samples, and we're going to talk about these that you see, so it kind of illustrates the what could it be, okay? So I'm going to start with Meredith Elliott Powell. Meredith has had her best year ever this year, which for most people would be in 2021. In the midst of a pandemic, it sucked. So that has not been the case for Meredith. Part of it, not all of it, let me just say that to be clear, but part of it is she attributes to the fact that she is laser focused on her marketing and what message the video brings. So I'm going to play just a few minutes of this. We're going to go to another one, but I want you to see these to help you get your creative juices flowing. So we'll start with this one.
There is no question that today's marketplace is full of uncertainty. But the truth is, uncertainty is nothing new. When markets are uncertain, many of us have a tendency to panic, to freeze, and to lose sight of how to move forward. This actually fuels the idea that uncertainty in and of itself is a bad thing for your business, which is unfortunate. What if I told you that today's uncertainty doesn't have to be a bad thing? Better yet, what if I told you that uncertainty can be a positive, that uncertainty creates new opportunities, stimulates innovation, and if embraced, can become the catalyst that enables your business to thrive? Well, it can be. And my passion is sharing my 9-step formula for thriving in uncertainty, from turning uncertainty to your competitive advantage. See, a few years ago, I became obsessed with the word uncertainty, how we as business owners and leaders think about it, feel about it, and react to it. And in a nutshell, we don't like it. In fact, research shows that we would rather know something bad is going to happen rather than live with uncertainty. And in talking to business owners and leaders in 2018 and 2019 about how their businesses were doing, that really proved true. No matter who I asked or talked with, the answer was always the same.
Okay, now let me stop with that video for just a second. Okay, you don't need to see the whole thing. This gives you a flavor. In Meredith's case, one of the things that became crystal clear with this is, first thing, this was all done on green screen. Okay, so all of the interview segment, the whole ball of wax, it was all green screen and everything was scripted. And if you, kind of pay attention and dissect the video, what did you have? She started with, there was a problem. The problem is we're all living in uncertainty. Everyone can agree with that. Therefore, you instantly capture the attention of the meeting planner. People don't like uncertainty. That would be another true statement, but it doesn't have to be that way. AKA, there's a solution. And then she goes into, she became obsessed with uncertainty in her 9-step formula. This is what I offer to the client as an outcome, and it continues in the video to talk about it. Now, what I want you to notice in this particular video is Meredith's been around the block a while, and she's got a lot of B-roll footage of her on stage in action. You will notice you saw 5 different stage settings up to this point. You saw her interacting with people. I stopped here. There's the participant. She's laughing at the response they had. It shows interactivity, but not once did you hear her say a word on stage. In the entire video is her telling the meeting planner what the problem is. That problem doesn't have to exist. She has a solution. We need to talk about the solution. And the video converts people who watch it to picking up the telephone and saying, tell me about your 9-step solution to uncertain. Oh my God, it's been such an uncertain time. Our people need to hear this message. Therefore, it sells. Okay. Now, point to it is she happens to have B-roll that she can work with so that consequently she's seen on stage. She's just never heard on stage. Okay. Does that make sense to folks? Okay. Everybody okay with that? All right. I'm going to cut that one off. I'm going to go to this particular one. We're going to start again at the beginning. It's not going to go long, but there's a different feel to this one. So let's start it at the beginning.
You feeling this? You're leaders. Your team goes where you go. Solutions-oriented leadership and transformational leadership is not about developing followers. It's about developing other leaders. Every day I get calls, texts, and emails from leaders, organizations, and meeting planners. They all have a common theme. How do I adapt and grow my business in this new and ever-changing environment? You're going to have to enter the adaptability zone by building solutions-oriented teams. Especially now in today's marketplace, we need solutions-oriented leaders, leaders who can move past fear. It's time to become a catalyst for your business and personal growth. Think about this. For the past decade, life was fairly normal. Then a global crisis hits. What now? Many companies and individuals accepted what has happened, but that's not enough. Not if you want to thrive and excel. You need a game plan and action steps for their accomplishments. Your choices and actions will open the door to recovery and new successes. Only then can you thrive and excel. The clients I work with want to thrive and excel in ways they couldn't have fully imagined 3 short years ago.
Okay, so let me stop this one. And I'm going to go back for just a moment to the very beginning and just, we're going to watch just this opening and then I'm going to share something with you.
You feeling this? You're leaders. Your team goes where you go. Solutions-oriented leader.
Okay, now, at the very beginning of this, you saw Rick on stage. In Rick's video, he really wanted to be the guy seen on stage. So it opens up with him on stage and it's a long shot. He's towards the front and it's a nice back over the shoulder shot. And he said, "You feeling this?" And he makes some comment. Don't even remember exactly what the script was, but whatever it was, he didn't say that on stage. Those were not his words. He was so far away on the stage, you couldn't see what his mouth said. So therefore, what he said on stage to get that shot was not something that was relevant to his video. So we scripted what the video needed to be. And we found this clip that says solutions-oriented leadership and transformational leadership is not, and that he said on stage for sure. But the other, we actually just recorded audio and played the audio while we saw him on stage at a distance. So nobody can tell what he said, but it coherently needed to make sense. Okay. And in Rick's case, what he has done is he has taken video of him that we can use, some of which just shows him on stage. There were testimonials which went across the screen and somewhat obscured him, so you could read the testimonials, but the entire thing in his video is scripted so that what we could use of him on stage where he said the right words, we would. Otherwise, we improvised with B-roll or graphics. And the one thing that the younger generation says is they want to see action. They want to see something taking place. So when you start,
Leadership and transformational leadership is not about developing followers. It's about developing other leaders.
Words appear.
Every day I get calls, texts, and emails from leaders, organizations, and meeting planners.
You see those images are happening pretty quickly because generally on a television show, you're not going to see one image more than about 4 seconds. So if I'm going to appeal to the 38-year-old meeting planner, I've got to have something that looks like a TV show with instantly things moving, or otherwise they're going to get bored. Now, the other thing that you'll notice about Rick's, he made the conscious choice to make sure that it was subtitled. And from what we hear in 2024-ish, maybe 25, is everything in video will ultimately be subtitled. But he went ahead and chose to subtitle it because he felt like that if he's showing it to the meeting planner that's looking about inclusivity with all of their workers, that to have something subtitled says, I'm cool, I recognize not everybody is going to hear what's taking place, so therefore they can see the words. Okay.
Hey, Tony, could you just mute for a sec? There's some background noise coming through.
Okay. Now, let me, let's see, bear with me just a second. Let me pull this one up. Here's a different, okay, first thing, let me make sure. Can you see this? Do you see that on the screen or not? Do you see a globe on the screen? I bet you don't. So let's change that.
No.
Hang with me just a second. You will in just a moment. All right. Now, in this case, now you do. So in this case, here's an example of a speaker who does not have a lot of stage footage. Okay. So it's not like there's lots of stage footage that he's going to be able to show someone. So this is functionally 100% green screen. So you can watch. Here's an example.
The world is in constant change. I know some of you already, because I can see it. You're rolling your eyes like, duh, of course. Have you ever in your entire life seen change happen at the pace we see it today? Of course not. Now, let's be honest. Today, all of us have done something that no one else has done. We've lived through a global pandemic. Yeah, and the speed at which our lives change, well, Put it this way, it's never happened at that rate before. You know, change, especially at that pace, creates instability, unpredictability, and moments of stagnation where you feel immobilized, right? Where we feel like we can't move forward because the change is happening so fast that we have no clear direction. Now, I see some of you nodding your heads. You know exactly what I mean. Yeah, we've all experienced it. Hi, I'm Dennis Budmer. I'm an expert in human behavior. Well, those opening lines, they were from a conference, a major conference I was the opening keynote for. And the words seemed to really resonate with.
Okay, now let me stop this for a second. He spoke the truth. Those opening lines were from a major conference that he was the keynote for. However, the conference was not recorded. So therefore, he had no footage of him at the conference. So just as a side note, that stage was a former NSA stage. It was an influence stage back in 2014 or 2015. So there's where the stage came from. He was recorded on green screen, and the audience was stage footage that we had whenever it said, and I see some of you shaking your head, yes. So all of that put together recreated the stage so that when the meeting planner looks at it, they see he's capable of being on a stage. It's just, it wasn't what was the conference that he was at because, again, it wasn't recorded. So the question then becomes the issue of, so how do I capture this information? I'm going to stop the share at this point and just use this as some easy examples. In Meredith's case, you saw her on stage, but you never heard her on stage. In Rick's case, you heard him on stage, but in some cases we had to replace the words so that it coherently made sense for a video that would be 3.5 minutes. And in Dennis's case, we knew what he said on stage because he audio recorded it, but we didn't have the footage for it. So therefore, on green screen, we created that. So part of what's going to happen with you all is it's shot on green screen in a studio in New York. Yay. And let's put it this way. If you can watch Jurassic Park and believe they're dinosaurs, then we can kind of put you wherever we want you to put you and make it look good. So the issue comes down to what is it that you want to accomplish with the video? The presumption on our part is we will produce from start to finish a demo video as part of this project. That would include shooting the video, helping you with the scripting, providing B-roll, providing the music, and ultimately ending up with a final product so that then you can take that and say, okay, well, to the meeting planner for my website, whatever, here is a complete start to finish demo video. If you have content such as testimonials, content like logos, content like a color palette, there are particular fonts or colors on your website that you want to use. Content like, I've got a lot of video that's been from the past 10 years, and I need to be able, like Meredith, to use clips of that video to show me on stage without necessarily hearing me on stage. So any content you have, you'll be able to upload to us for us to be able to use. But the essence of this would be for us to think about what is the script that creates the video content that a meeting planner is going to be able to look at and say, holy crap, that's why I need to hire Ruth. Make sense? Now, let me address a couple of things. And Ken, there was a question, and we're going to open it for questions. Absolutely. Any question is absolutely fine, but let me address a couple of things. One is, after this call, I need you and I to connect. So first thing, let me just say, and let's see, let me go to the chat box here real quick. Let me just do this for everyone in the meeting. Chuck at Primo, IMEAU productions.com. There's the email address. So we all need to connect. Sooner is better than later. And what we're going to do is we're going to schedule a one-on-one Zoom call where we're going to talk back and forth about what problem you solve, what's the script need to look like, and so forth. And I will assist you in that script. Most of the time, what happens is you'll create a preliminary script. I will take the script because I don't know you as well as you know you, but I'll take your preliminary script. We'll adjust it back and forth until you're satisfied that the script that we're using is going to be something that properly represents you and has the potential to sell. Because ultimately, that's what the video needs to do. It needs to convert to telephone calls of people wanting to talk with you. Otherwise, it's pretty, but if it doesn't get some action for you, that it's just a pretty video that is not worth a lot. Does that make sense? Okay. The other thing that I will say to you, when we are shooting this, these go in 30-minute segments. So one of the things that we'll do is, I'm going to pick on Ken for a second, is Ken will have sent me, because we'll communicate back and forth, his script. We'll have his script on a teleprompter so that you don't have to memorize this thing. Part of the script may be you as if you were on stage. Like in Dennis's case, the last video you saw him on stage. Now, that was set up with teleprompters so that if he didn't have it fully committed to memory, at least the stage portions, that he had a reference point to be able to look at. If it's an interview segment as part of your video, that's easy because it's an interview and you can read it from the teleprompter, and that's the easiest part of anything that we'll do. But functionally, what will happen is if Ken's time happens to be 10:30, I'm making the time up, then he'll come in at 10:30, and what ultimately will be a 3.5 to 5 minute video, we've got 30 minutes within which to be able to shoot it. So if you've got the script, we've got the script, it's on the teleprompter and everybody's prepared, we should be able to knock that out and it be no problem. The other thing I will say to you is, for any of you, do not wear green. Like, that's a bad thing to wear. If you're on a green screen and you're wearing green, you will disappear. Just so you know. And we did one this week in the studio. Oh my God. The lady came, the guy that organized the thing failed to tell his guests, don't wear green. So a lady came in green. Now, fortunately, it was in our studio, so we have a blue screen. So we put the blue screen behind her and the green screen was behind him. And that means we have to edit out both colors and so forth. But anyway, the point becomes, don't wear green, because green is a bad thing on a green screen. Just so you know, ladies, if you happen to have a scarf with you and it's got floral on it and there's green in it, the leaves will disappear. Just pointing those little things out. So when I say no green, that means really no green. Okay, just so we're crystal clear. Okay, now, there's one disadvantage that I have, and that is because I do this so often, sometimes I get so carried away with thinking that I've communicated something that then I haven't. And so let's just open it for questions. Any question is absolutely okay, because ultimately, for those of you that are here, you should feel comfortable when you walk away that our next meeting should be a Zoom call and we're talking about scripting. So what you got on your mind?
Chuck, so some further grounding, and just so you know, everybody on the call is going to be participating. We've got 13 folks signed up, so we've got a full day.
Yep.
Maybe just a little bit of guidance to think about. Well, 30 minutes on set is not 30 minutes of talking. Some guidance maybe about how to focus that script. Maybe there's a number of words, some guidance around that. And then, if there's some other pieces of the design that are general, could fit everybody, some of that overall background might be helpful.
Okay, good. Scripting. Typically, you're going to be looking at a script of 350 words to maybe 500. Why? Because the average person speaks at about a rate of 125 words a minute. So 375 words would be a 3-minute video. If you have 500, that's going to be pushing you to a 4-minute plus video. And the reality is, if we don't nail it in 20 seconds to have a meeting planner want to continue, they'll just click the video off and go to the next person. So it needs to be compelling at the beginning, identifying the problem that that organization has, or the general population has, whatever that circumstance is. And we'll talk about that in more detail, but functionally, if you write something 350 to 500 words, you're it. If you go more than 500 words, then you and I will have a conversation about how can we cut the script and eliminate some of the superfluous, just kind of filler words that don't need to be there. Okay. Needs to be tight, needs to be on the money. People need to understand why you. Okay.
And then
Yeah.
any guidance between the utility of having, more of an interview kind of approach, like Meredith had at the beginning of hers, versus appearing on stage? Is it just our taste and preference? Any guidance about how we might think about how we're going to be piecing this together? Because obviously the script needs to fit those elements.
Well, okay. So Ken, here's the best way I would put this. I think part of it is a function of what your taste is. Rick, for example's taste was, I want to see me on stage. Even if what he said didn't make any sense, I want to see me on stage. So we had to adjust how we captured that stage footage to the words that he said, so that there was some coherence and a message that a meeting planner could take away. Meredith was like, listen, I'm all interview. Just let's record the interview and you all drop in the footage as you feel like it moves you, as the spirit moves. Drop the footage in, make it look good. And so hers was 100%. I'm on a green screen in an interview setting in the same dress, and I'm telling the meeting planner why they need me. And our job was to make that visually stimulating using her footage. So a lot of it is personality and what you're looking for and what you're bringing to the table. If you're the person that's the happiness speaker, that people need to be happy, then that feel has to have that happy feel. Now, if you don't have stage footage, or the stage footage is so old that it really doesn't represent you, then part of what we're going to do is create out of the script something that you would say on stage, so that you can be on a stage. We'll just put you on a virtual stage and make it work. So a lot of it comes down to, in that personal meeting that we have, what is it that you bring to the table? Now, if I were to, just to put for the analytics in the room, in the group, if I were to create a formula, I would say I'm probably starting on stage. So they see me on stage with, what problem do I solve? Then it doesn't have to be that way. That's me going to interview. Then probably back to stage, talking about why what I do is helping you solve your problem. Perhaps back to interview. So it becomes a little more crystal clear, maybe back to stage. So there's this emotional crescendo where the audience is there and they're smiling, or they're laughing, or they're clapping, or they're whatever it happens to be. Finally, to a portion where I'm really talking to the meeting planner and saying, look, if you want to make sure that your employees, the people that you have responsibility for, make ethical choices, not because they have to, but because they want to, gosh, we need to talk. And I mean, who doesn't want people to make ethical choices because they want to? Everybody should want to. Of course, the problem with that is, since I'm an ethics speaker, is everybody thinks they're ethical until they're not. And by that point, it's generally too late, but that's a different issue. Okay.
Awesome. So Ruth,
So-
you might have had a question.
Oh, go ahead.
Or Jen, go ahead. Go ahead, Jen.
Just one thing to clarify, Chuck, for everyone. So it will be practical for them to film both interview style and the on-stage speaking style during their session. And what do you recommend in terms of wardrobe changes?
Okay.
That?
So I would be prepared to have 2 to 3 wardrobe changes. Okay. So for the ladies, let me just throw out an idea. I'm going to have wardrobe A, which is me on stage. I'm going to have wardrobe B, which is me on another stage. Let me get Tony back in here. Okay. Wardrobe A, I'm on stage. Wardrobe B, I'm on stage. Wardrobe C maybe is I'm in the interview setting. Now, let me just be really practical here. Ladies, this doesn't quite hit you the same as it does me, but I'm really easy. I've got a black crew neck shirt. I got black pants, and I switch colors of jackets, and I'm instantly changed, which makes it easy. Now, Lenora Billings Harris, former NSA president and president of Global Speakers Federation, same thing. Black pants, black top, different jacket or different scarf, and it becomes an easy change. But for the ladies, what I would say to you is we're going to work on the script, and then you'll be thinking about what dress am I going to do, because within that 30 minutes, you're going to record a part of this, which is going to take, let's call it 45 seconds to a minute 15. And then we're going to say, okay, now you need to go change. So walk behind the green screen or into the dressing room or whatever, change your clothes, come back in. We're going to record again, change your clothes, come back in, we'll record again. For the guys, typically not as big a deal, depending upon, I mean, a suit's a suit. So if you have on X shirt, you might just change the jacket or whatever it happens to be. But for us guys, that tends to be an easier proposition than it does for the ladies. So you have to think about that logistically more.
And all that needs to happen within the 30 minutes that you've got on set, right? So don't make it a difficult wardrobe change. It needs to be something that can happen pretty quickly. All right, so let's go to Ruth and then Robin.
Okay, thank you for this great introduction. I really enjoyed listening to you. My question is about makeup and hair. You're gonna have somebody there to make sure that we look right. We don't have like one hair here and one hair there. And also, I have a lot of video interviews. Can you use those?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
But how, I have so many. What do I need to cut them into small segments and just upload those segments, or do you want the whole thing? Because it's going to be a lot of work to select from all the videos that I have.
Okay, so Ruth, let me answer two different questions, but let's start with your last one. So if you've got lots of videos and lots of interviews, it would make it far easier for us just to cut them to places where you could see it working. Okay. Like, for example, someone sent me the other day an interview that they had on CNN, and we needed 6 seconds of footage, but we had 5 minutes. So all we did was just slide through until we saw, the person being interviewed, the host there, and the CNN logo at the bottom, and that was it. 6 seconds, we're done, we're out. So
You want me to mark the second so you know where to cut?
That would be great. If you can do that, that would be helpful to us. Yes. Okay. Now, in terms of makeup, Ken, I don't know the answer.
So makeup, we have a makeup artist who will be there, who will be able to, to do some, let's call it lighter touch up, right? We're going to make it so that you're going to look good on camera. Think about, if there's major stuff that you want to do, you should do that. They'll be there for light hair, but they're not going to be there with, a full stylist setup, right? They'll just be there to make sure that you look good on camera. So we'll have some support there, but think about trying to do as much as you can on your own, so that when you show up, you're there, and then the makeup artist can really kind of help either finish things off, polish things off, and just do the things.
Don't you need a special makeup for the video? It's not like the regular makeup you put on every day.
Okay, so let's address that for a second. Two things, ladies. This is going to sound a little tacky, so y'all don't get offended by this, okay? But here's the deal. Number one, no SPF makeup. Okay, if you're wearing SPF makeup to, whatever that's supposed to keep you from getting skin cancer and crap, like, do not use that, because it's got and I don't know what the right term is, but it's like little mica flecks in it. So what happens in a camera light, it just sucks the color straight out of you. So cheap, basic makeup. And secondarily, ladies, I'm going to tell you this, and you are going to think that I am bat dung crazy, but you need to look like you're a whore in church. That's a Southern way of putting it. I'm just going to tell you, if I walk up to you and you look at like, doesn't my makeup look good? And it's like, no, honey, you have not got enough makeup on. You're not on the streets. I am not telling you that to make you too made up. I'm telling you the camera sucks that out of you with the lights. So the more made up you are, the better that's going to be. So, and I promise you, you will not overdo it. 100%, every woman that's come into the studio where we've had a makeup artist come in, gets made up, we'll take a quick picture, we'll look at it on the computer, and they're like, holy crap, I need more makeup. Yeah, I could have told you that, but you didn't believe me on the front end, so slap it on there. And when they do, they look great. So more is better, no SPF. Pardon the way I put it. I'm a Southern guy and we just like having some fun.
Okay,
Now,
Ruth,
guys,
so hopefully-
let me give you a little thought. Okay. You kind of, when you get gray like me, the eyebrows start to go away a little bit. So, we might want to do just a little touch up on the eyebrow there. If I'm sitting there and it's Tim, dude, you're good. You got color, there's stuff there. But Tony, you might do a little eyebrow, something, a little touch, something there. It's not going to hurt anything. You don't have to go overboard with it because people don't expect to see that as much from guys. But I do promise you, a little bit of makeup, guys, is good. And if you're Ken, you might want to have a little touch up, something on the forehead.
A lot up here. Yeah.
Yeah, because sometimes that it gets shiny. Like I can see the shine on my forehead right now as I'm looking at this. So we don't want to be shiny on camera.
All right, great. So Ruth, hopefully that got your question answered. Robin.
Yeah. Okay. So I love the idea behind the story and the script. And I also love seeing myself speak from stage. And I have footage of that. So I'm wondering, is that also an option? And how would then that work? To have a script of maybe an interview or maybe some voiceover, and then have actual footage of me on stage. So I'm trying to figure out whether these are two different videos that I'm thinking about, or is this something possible? Because we also did have a panel recently where the speaker bureaus really do want to see speakers speaking from the stage.
Okay, so let me answer that question kind of two ways, Robin. One, in Meredith's video, you see her on the stage, you just never hear a word she says. And the bureaus don't seem to have one issue with that because they see her interacting, they see what's taking place, you just don't hear the words, okay? In Rick's case, he was like, oh my God, they need to hear me from stage. Okay, great. So here's what I would say in your case. I would, if I were you, look at what video do I have where the stage is just amazing, because it needs to be amazing looking. So I'm on this amazing stage. Let's just make it easy for all of us. It's like being at Influence. I'm on the main stage at Influence. Boom, here it is. And I just delivered this line. The question is, what are you saying on the stage that is relevant to your script, that's relevant to the problem you solve? Okay. And so the task on your end would be look at those places where you're on stage and find the relevant lines or the paragraph or something. And that's where the problem for most of us speakers is when we're on stage for an hour, we're not succinct. And we're trying to squish into 3.5 minutes why Robin is just that amazing person. So in Rick's video, the second part of the stage, he was saying that from the stage. We crafted the first line so that the distance shot that we have of him had him speaking. You just couldn't see it coming out of his mouth, so that when it went to the stage shot, it made coherent sense. Does that make sense? Now that, and by the way, Robin, that would apply to anybody. And I'm not trying to be funny with this statement, but I do ethics presentations, and there are places where I know what I'm going to say will draw a laugh. And so the video from that really is cool, but it is not coherent to anything that I would put in a demo video. So you might see it, you might see him laughing, you might see the interaction, but you'll never hear a word I say, because, if they heard what I said, they would be like, well, what does that have to do with what we're talking about? And it doesn't in an 1.5-hour keynote. For 3-minute video, it needs to be typed.
Okey-doke.
Other questions? Anything is open.
So I have another question.
Sure.
The 3 minutes video, you said it's 3 to 5 minutes, or is it just 3? And also, does it have to have an opening and an ending, like as if it was a mini presentation?
Well, it's not a mini presentation. It's more a mini sales script.
Right, okay.
And so, and it's not 3 or 5, it's whatever it takes. But if you're pushing it much beyond 5, the chance they're going to watch it is slim. In most cases, for any of us here, myself included, I see what the number of, I see how long people watch my videos on YouTube. And I might have a 3.5 minute video, but the average length of time is 1 minute and 22 seconds. So I know I got to, in 1 minute and 22 seconds, cause someone to say, yeah, he's a candidate. Because if I don't capture that, it doesn't make any difference how long the video is. They're just not going to hire me.
So the answer is that we don't need necessarily an opening and an ending?
No, we're gonna work with you on the scripting. Okay, let me give you just a quick, easy idea of how this would be. Play with this for just a second. I'm an ethics speaker. Okay. Never did any of us who might be looking at this video at this point ever think that we would be living through something that our ancestors probably never even thought about, and that is a global pandemic. And the rate of change and what has happened at the beginning of this decade has been dramatic. And here's the challenge. Whenever there is dramatic change, there is also the incredible opportunity for unethical behavior, in fact, even fraudulent behavior. Now, that being the truth, the reality is, but it doesn't have to be that way. You see, if we can take from the subconscious what happens to us on a day-to-day basis where we break the law all the time. For example, anybody watching this probably driving on the interstate highway obviously exceeds the speed limit by 5 to 10. Yet you would say that voluntarily breaking the law is unethical. But you see, making those choices when they become socially acceptable is the norm that we've become complacent with. And the problem in most corporations is, or most organizations is, you don't want that complacency amongst your employees, because one failure could result in dramatic change for you and your organization. I'm Chuck Gallagher, blah, 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 whatever. Now, I'm just making this crap up as I'm going, but the essence of it is, I want something on the front end that they can look at and say, holy crap, he's right. Oh man, never thought of it that way. So they'll at least pay enough attention to get to the place where it's like, man, maybe I need to think about this. And if I can get them to think about it and get them to 3 minutes, at the end of it, it's like, look, if you want your employees to make ethical choices because they want to, not because they have to, but because they want to, let's talk. And hopefully they're going to say, oh my gosh, I need to pick up the telephone and call Robin and find out. Let's talk about this. Well, that's what you want to have happen. You want them to talk to you. I just don't know what problems you solve. Other questions?
So I see Tony's hand up. Ruth, did that get your question answered?
Yes.
Okay, great. So Tony, I see your hand up.
Yes. I have a 1-hour presentation up in the Baseball Hall of Fame in Cooperstown, New York, sometime in January.
Okay.
So I don't know how that's going to conflict with Ken's program, but what do I do with it to tease that hour program, Chuck? How much time do I have? 5 minutes?
Okay, Tony, you caught me a little flat-footed. How much time do you have to tease your program, or are you trying to capture that video from the program to put it, excuse me, in a demo reel?
Is that what you're suggesting, to capture some of that? The program, I'm trying to figure out what I need to send up to Cooperstown.
Okay. You've already got the engagement at Cooperstown, yes?
Yeah, they're nailing it down today.
Okay. So if you've already got the engagement for Cooperstown, you don't need a demo to get you that engagement. You're going there. You're going to be speaking at the Baseball Hall of Fame. and unless I'm missing something, and if I am, you stop me, but I would make sure I get that presentation recorded, because how many people get to speak at the Baseball Hall of Fame? Dude, that's awesome. So to capture that on video and then use snippets
Okay.
from that
All right.
in a demo video, that's really cool.
Yeah. All right.
Does that make sense?
So, yeah, it makes sense. The problem that I have right now is the dates, you know, in the nebulous Andromeda. So I'm thinking it's in the middle of January. I
Okay.
offered the 12th, the 15th, and the 18th. So
Okay.
I don't know if that's going to conflict, but they forced me into taking the middle of January.
We're on
Now,
the
I don't know
27th, so you should be free and clear.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, Tony, what I would do if I were you is once you get the date, once you get the gig, I would ask them, is there someone there that professionally is recording this? Okay.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times they'll say, oh yeah, we've got somebody there to record it. And it's like, no, with a little camcorder, the sound sucks. And but if they've got a setup so that it's professionally recorded, by all means, capture that. And if not,
Okay.
I would consider the possibility of hiring someone up in the market area that can professionally record it, because the ability to say, having spoken at the Baseball Hall of Fame in Cooperstown, Ohio, and then bam, you're there and you've got this great video footage, dude, that's awesome. We live for that stuff.
Okay, so I feel pretty good about where I stand with it right now. I just wanted to know, you gave me some good information though.
Okay.
I think I'll be okay.
I would echo that, what Chuck said. And if you can, Tony, even if they are recording it, I would bring somebody with you if you can, and we can talk offline, and maybe there's some suggestions within the group of who you could bring, but to have someone, you know, there just, you know, that you've hired to videotape you and could even follow you around doing meet and greet or signing your books, you know, some of that footage could be great to mix in as B-roll.
Oh my goodness, yeah.
Oh yeah,
Good
absolutely.
Good point, Jen. And I know just the person, the
Good.
guy that helped me write the book. So
Great.
yeah, thank you.
Awesome. I see Tim's hand up.
Yeah, Chuck, I was just curious if, and maybe we'll do this in our one-on-one conversation, how many potential like backgrounds or stages we might be able to choose from, and just options as we coordinate going into it.
Yeah, a lot of times what happens, Tim, is most of the time, if you have no stage footage, as in zero, that you can work with, we tend to work with 2 stages. You know, you got what I'm called the proverbial opening stage, and then maybe it goes to some interview footage, and then it goes to another stage, and then maybe you close back out on that same opening stage. So it shows you in a couple of different lights. Sometimes the issue of stage becomes, what's your message? What do you do? You know, do we need to shoot full body from feet up, or do we need to just capture, you know, knees forward? Am I trying to promote the idea that I'm speaking to this massive, you know, in the old days, NSA influence audience of 1,500 people, or generally is my audience a more intimate group of 200 and it feels more like a training? So some of that defines the kind of look and feel of what that is. Other questions?
Are we good?
Wow.
Audience
Ruth.
participation. What about audience participation, Chuck?
If we have need for audience participation, like in Dennis Buttermer's case or some of the others, we typically have audience out there. So we're going to cut to B-roll of an audience doing whatever it is they're supposed to do. For example, we just did a video for a Hall of Fame speaker who had well, it's a 2-woman show, and we literally shot that in a theater with 0 audience whatsoever. It was designed to be a demo for theater type productions. So it had that stagey feel with the stagey lights and so forth. And, you know, then we cut away to audience that we have access to and put laugh tracks in and so forth. So, you know, it looked like they were there clapping and laughing and having a good time. There was no audience, you know. That's the fun part about this. is to make something that just doesn't exist and fool people. It is just, let me give you one just little side note. We had two guys come in. They did a great program, but they had a slide and somehow the slide was reversed. And so they said their words backwards. You know, if you start out here and you go to the end here, and it was really the reverse of that. And so we took it to the audio guy and we just took the words out and put the correct words in. And so they said what they were supposed to say, even though in reality they didn't say it, because we just cut the words and put them where they're supposed to. So it does cause you, if you're in this business, to wonder if anything you see on TV is really real, because you can make it whatever you want. Which is strange, by the way.
Fake it till you make it.
Fake it till you make it, or
make
it and we'll make it.
Okay, so any other questions? So there's some action steps, everyone. So Chuck's got his email in the chat. You need to email him, get that one-on-one time scheduled so you can start the process of getting through your script. Day of shoot. Between now and then, we need to just fine tune exactly when we can start the day with the studio. We're going to be sending out a sign-up list so that folks can sign up for slots on the day on January 27th. Again, 30-minute slot. You know, think of that as that's your window, right? So everything that's going to go on has to happen within that window. So you want to try and make sure that you're as efficient as possible. You need to work on your wardrobe changes. So figuring out how to do those efficiently, and that might just be changing a scarf or, you know, or a jacket can completely change an outfit. Think about makeup, right? We'll have a makeup artist there, but you know, if you can put the first couple layers on, we can trowel on a couple others after that, right? We've got a great makeup artist, you know, booked to help us out that day. And, you know, and again, think about what that outcome of your video is. What are you trying to accomplish with this video? This is going to be a lovely opportunity for you to get a marketing piece to get yourself booked gigs. So think about what that is. Think about that outline that he gave you of what's the problem, how do you solve it, you know, what's the solution out there. Make sure you got that call to action as part of all that. Chuck, Jen, am I missing anything in terms of next steps for folks?
The only thing I would say to the guys, I failed to do this, is no herringbone. Generally, no herringbone and no real tiny checks. In the ideal circumstance, I mean, it's okay. For example, you know, Jay, you've got on a striped shirt. That's fine. Those are pretty big stripes. But some guys, when we get into the herringbone jackets and things, it causes cameras to go all kind of fluky. And it's just like, you know, you don't need that when you can avoid it. So just as a side note, because I've talked to the ladies also, keep in mind with your jewelry, don't care what the jewelry happens to be, but I would probably say, we do need to think a bit about if you've got on a lot of either white gold or silver. And here's the reason for just an awareness of that, because we're on a green screen. If you've got something that's like really, really silver shiny or white gold shiny, then all it's going to do is reflect the green on the earrings or the necklace or what have you. Now, if the necklace is going in front and I'm using my black shirt, it won't make any difference. That's not an issue, but it's just minimal things to be aware of, just so that, you know, it works okay. Also, ladies, with your glasses, I'm going to guess the majority of people do not have the non-reflective glasses like folks on TV wear. So just be aware of the fact, if you are wearing glasses, two things. Number one, are the glasses something that is part of my look? People expect it. It's part of me. That's what they expect to see. Absolutely no problem with that. You may from time to time see a reflection of some light in the glasses, but that is not unusual. So we don't get too worried about that. If on the other hand, you're like, well, I need the glasses to read, but I don't, normally I wouldn't wear them on stage, then don't worry about it, because we can adjust the size of the teleprompter script so that you can see it. So that's not a concern I would have if you don't choose to wear, if you're not wearing glasses on stage. Does that make sense?
Ken.
Yeah.
Those of us participating that day, Are we in and out, or are we expected to be there
You're-
most of the day?
You are going to be in and out. Yes. So we're going to provide an arrival time, which will be before your set time.
Mhm.
Because we need to finalize some of this with the makeup artist too, in terms of how much time she needs, whether that's 15, 20, 25 minutes before you walk on set. So we'll have that arrival time, and then your set time, and then yeah, you're out. This is not like that was done in the past where everybody's going to hang out all day. You're going to be in, do your bit, and then move on. And so, I mean, we'll be cycling through, obviously, be passing folks, but not everybody has to stay for the whole day. No.
And all of my team is triple vaccinated. That doesn't necessarily mean that you can't get COVID. I get it, but the requirement in my office is you got to be vaccinated. And so all of the young guys have had 2, I've had 3, and I've told them before they go by at least by the 5th of January, they have to have their booster shot, and then, get over if you get sick or not, whichever. My wife said I'm a Neanderthal. I took the 3rd booster, the booster shot didn't affect me. And she was like, oh my God, I feel crappy for 4 days. So I've now become a Neanderthal, but whatever.
And I'll need to check on, the studio's requirement for getting in, but I would just bring your vaccination card, just in case. I mean, a lot of facilities are checking those. So just make sure you have it with you that day.
In many cases, Ken, they ask for that or a test. So definitely check, especially in the month of January. I'm thinking that places will require a test above anything. The good news in New York City is that tests are available free on the street for anybody who's coming from outside of New York. They're free in New York. So Chuck, I wanted to thank you. I have the honor of running the chapter in New York City this year. This has been a fantastic offering, an amazing way to start the 2022, and the fact that it sold out so quickly is a testament to what you deliver at Hello. And I want to thank you. I want to thank you so much, and hope that you may be game to come back in the spring and do it again, because I think once people see this, we could really double the numbers of people that would be interested. So I wanted to thank you very much. I also wanted to tell you, Ruth, that and everybody here, the makeup artist that's been selected is a pro with TV. She is a pro with cameras. She is one of the best in the business. So do not worry and trust her completely. She will get the job done. So thank you again, Chuck.
Yep, pleasure. Look forward to it. And y'all send me the emails. We'll start scheduling. We're actually going to be doing calls next week, so we can start as early as next week, trying to work on getting scripts and so forth. Sooner the better, obviously. And once you have the script and you're satisfied, then it's like, okay, cool. Then you can practice it and feel comfortable that you can go in, nail it. And, if you've got some really, really cool video, Robin or whomever it may be that's got the video, go through the video and find if there are really lines that you've delivered and that video is gorgeous, by all means, let's identify what those lines are so we can include that in the scripting. Okay.
Awesome. All right. So I think we've got our questions answered for now. We got Chuck's email, so absolutely get that time with him scheduled, and you can also ask him some questions there. Thank you so much for coming out on a Tuesday night. Happy Yule. We got more daylight coming after this, so it's an awesome day. Let go of all those old things. There's lots of great Yule traditions if you're not familiar, like just kind of dump all that old solstice energy, embrace the new solstice here. And we will see you all again, either at the chapter, or Jen and I will see you there at the studio on the 27th. So have a fantastic rest of your longest night of the year, and we'll see you soon. Take care.
Take care. Bye-bye,
Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Chuck.